Sir, I want to ask you about Iran in particular, where recently there has been a change in political leadership. What can we expect to see from this new government under Ebrahim Raisi, both on the internal and external fronts?
Well, firstly, on the internal front, as you know, that Iran has been under sanctions for a very long time. The more stringent sanctions were imposed after President Trump moved out of the nuclear deal. And therefore, the Iran has been facing a tremendous economic crisis. There is a big unemployment problem. There is discontentment among the population at the grassroots level. On top of it, Iran has been facing a very high incidence of the pandemic, and with no help from many countries in the world. Because of the sanctions, it could not do much. So it has there has been a complaint against the previous government about not performing the way it should have. They had their own limitations. The reformist people, I would say, are moderate governments So Ebrahim Raisi is, as we know, is Ayatollah. He was head of the judiciary. He is a known conservative. He is close to Ayatollah Khomeini. So what you can expect from it? You can expect a conservative approach. But what has he been saying? He is also going to address these issues, because domestic issues are very important to address, and these are fundamental issues before people really break out. So people's patience cannot be tested for long. So its biggest worry is to how to meet people's expectations in Iran. So that remains its first, which means the sanctions need to be lifted somehow, which means it will continue to support negotiations with Americans under Biden administration, which wants to return to the nuclear deal, so that it gets a respite. And that's what most of the world is also hoping for. Externally, we know that Iran has geopolitical ambitions. It is a power to reckon with. It is the only power which has been given a run to the Israelis. It has its missiles, but more importantly, it has 3H. One is Houthi in Yemen, who are fighting the Saudis. Other is Hamas, which is fighting the Israelis from Gaza. The third one is Hezbollah, which is again fighting them in your Syria and Lebanon. So that is the kind of thing it has, which is extremely important. Likewise, in Iraq, it has a lot of militias. In fact, after the 2003 invasion of Iraq, which was I consider it as the mother of all evils, the Americans gave Iraq on a platter to Iran, right? So Iran's influence with the Arab world also is very strong, because Syria or Lebanon or Iraq, they're Arab countries, right? Yemen, that's an Arab country. So I feel that Iranians have this kind of an influence, even in India for that matter. Shias, when all the Shias consider them leaders, they are very happy when Ebrahim Raisi won. There was, and if there is Soleimani was died, that you had a lot of demonstrations in India as well. So they connect with them. So we have to see that Iran, as far as India and Iran are concerned, I would say our relationship has been historic, civilizational, whatever it is. But under the US sanctions, the relationship came under tremendous stress. But still, we continue to work through waivers, through Chabahar Port and some other bilateral engagements for Afghanistan and others. It's very crucial for our connectivity. So I think that now that recent times, we have had a lot of interactions at the highest level. The foreign minister, Jaishankar, became the first foreign leader to call on Ebrahim Raisi, even before he took charge. He went for his coronation ceremony, so to say. So what I find that is that India is managing its relations rather well with Iran at the moment. but hoping for the opening through the lifting of sanctions and signing of the nuclear deal that happens. Iran has close relations with China. That could be a challenge for us. As I said, cryptic. We have to look at it from that perspective. If that happens, and now Afghanistan might be added to that. So if that happens, then I would see challenges for India in the strategic domain.
Please remember to subscribe to us and switch on the notifications for this channel. For our other social media links, more content, and to support our work, please visit citti.net. Dhanyavad. Namaskar.